Hello friends, and welcome back to another single case design graphing in Microsoft Excel video. Please feel free to email perseverebook@gmail.com with anything that you would want addressed in said videos or me to respond to. This one is going to be a slight bit more involved than the previous videos on AB graphing of exercise duration minutes across weeks, averaging the daily exercise across a week to see how things are going and to make decisions. This one is on a cumulative record or cumulative graph. Those are used interchangeably by me and I believe in the literature as well. A cumulative graph is best used when the behavior can occur or not occur. It can be a yes or a no, that it happened or it didn't happen, but those opportunities don't happen very often. Probably the most common way a cumulative graph will be used is if the behavior can only happen once a day. You're only going to wake up once a day. You go to work once a day, maybe twice or three times, depending on how many jobs you have. Depending on medication or vitamin and supplement usage, you only have once per day to take your medicine, or let's say it's at every mealtime, that's 3 times per day. And if it's once per day and you were graphing that as a percentage, it would either be 0%, 0 divided by 1, or it'd be 100%, 1 divided by 1. And having data bounce from the top to the bottom of the graph and back and forth is not necessarily a very helpful way to go about things. Even if you have the 3 times per day, you only have 4 options for what the percentage will be. 0, 0 out of 3, 33%, 1 out of 3, 66% for 2 out of 3, and 100% for 3 out of 3. Again, it's not giving you very good information about how that's happening, and that's why a cumulative graph would be more helpful in those instances. In a cumulative graph, to remind you all, and this is discussed in, chapter 8 or 9 of Persevere, if the line goes to the right, it means the behavior did not occur. I labeled the y-axis here as occurrences. It could be occurrences of anything, including all of the examples that I've given. If it goes up, it means it happened. The faster the line goes up, the more it's happening. The more the line stays parallel to the x-axis, the line stays flat and stable, the less the behavior is happening. Now this graph and this spreadsheet is going to have a little bit more to it than the previous ones, but I will walk you all through how this works. I'm zoomed in a little bit here. We have major phase X and minor phase X still available so that we can see the difference between baseline and treatment, or changes within a treatment. We no longer have changing criterion because that does not interface with the cumulative graph. There is no bar to get above because the graph just keeps going up. I, of course, have labeled baseline here. I labeled day here. This could be anything you wanted it to be. It could be meal, it could be trial, it could be opportunity. Day seemed pretty intuitive. Now, we have our C column, our D column, and our F column. Again, hashtag n/A means just ignore this. In our D column, what it is doing is it's looking to its left to see the letter, not the word. And if it has a capital Y, it will change from a 0 to a 1. So this is taking this data and it's almost making it binary. It's saying if this is a Y, I change to 1. If it's anything but a Y, I stay at 0. Then these, in the F, the first one's going to be a little different, but then the second one is saying, okay, How many Y's have we had so far? Is this a Y? If it is, it's going to be a 1, and I'm going to add it up. Let me show you a little how this works. I hit my caps lock and hit a Y and hit the down arrow, and now you see. It looked to the left, it said, oh hey, that's a capital Y, behavior happened. I changed to a 1, then these changed to 1s as well, because that one is saying, is this a 1? And then this box is saying F2 plus D3. I take this 1, I add this 0, and I become a 1. So then if I keep adding Y, 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 yes, 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 in baseline it has happened 3 consecutive times. Each time the cumulative count, it accumulates like snowfall, it goes up, and look at our graph. Up, up, up. We don't ever start our graphs at 0, but you can imagine that it starts there. Up, up, up. It is happening. This is as quickly as a cumulative graph will go up. Okay. Now for the trickier parts. I'm going to change these from Y's to no's, not because I'm falsifying data, but because I am showing you a cumulative record. And now we have a no, no, no. This is 3 data points. This is a stable trend. It is not increasing. This would indicate that depending on the context and what we're looking at as far as the behavior, we might choose to institute a treatment. Coming back over to here, that would mean that we want a space, a blank row between 3 and 4, because we never want our data lines to go through our phase lines, and we can go ahead and draw in our phase line. Remember that this is something that Microsoft Excel thinks is data, but in reality we are saying between 3 and 4, start a line at the bottom and keep it straight up and go really far up. So now we have that particular line. I am going to just adjust a little bit. Let's make that 12-point font because I want to. And you can tell I still had caps lock on. Okay, now I'm going to put in oops. TX is the abbreviation for treatment that's commonly used. You can use it, you can type in treatment, whatever helps you best use and understand what you've got going on. Now let's say we have this. And we come back over here and immediately, where is our data? Well, I'm going to show you what the issue is. The issue is that when we put in this blank column, it interrupted these cumulative counts. And it has no idea what it's doing. So, for this one, I need to go in, I need to hit equals, I need to jump up to F4, because that's where we left off before we put in our interrupting row, and then plus, and then our count. So now it's saying that was the last one. This one says 1, I turn to 1. Now we have to do it again, but slightly differently for cell F7. Our box here, we're going to say equal. Then we're going to click on F6, the one that we just changed. Give it a plus, and D7. When we're doing this, Microsoft Excel has a slight help with the visual aid. It'll change the colors so we can see our F6 is the blue, D7 is the red. I endeavor to have more high quality videos as I continue to post these, and we'll have much more handy visual aids like this as I go. I'm more focused on getting the content up than the polish on the content, which will come with time, and I value your patience in paying attention to these. I hit enter. Now it is saying I take 1, I add 0. Now, if I left click in F7 and I come to our handy dandy fill at the bottom right, you can tell I'm hovering over the right part when it changes from a cross with a white fill to a smaller cross with a black fill or a plus. And now I can just drag it all the way down. I had it go to 366, the maximum number of days in a year. Oops, I don't want to do that. I just want to go to 9 because we want hashtag n/a. And I'm going to show you why in a bit. So now this is what the graph looks like. And looking at this, we would say our treatment is pretty effective because it is going up. If I drew a eyeballed trend line, I'd have something looking more or less like this. This would probably give me confidence, depending on the contextual variables and the constant qualifier of it depends, to remove the treatment and go back to baseline to see if the behavior goes away or maintains. If this is something you're doing for your personal habit formation, you might want to leave the treatment in longer to establish more history of it working before trying to take something away from it. The reason why I do not fill down all the way through is because, and I'm going to change this to 20 to highlight the point, my graph is now lying to me, and it has a weird space. My graph is saying that everything went well until day 9 and then it flatlined. No, we actually don't have any data beyond 9, but this is going to keep doing the formula as if we had data. So that's why it's giving me this flat line. It is slightly annoying because now as I enter data, I have to continue to do this fill down. So let's say I have another data point and it's a Y, and that turns that into a 1. I'm going to have to come over here and pull down the formula 1 so that the graph updates correctly. It's a little less user intuitive. If you have a better way to make this work, I am all ears. I am always open to learning from other people in any domain of my professional career, and especially Microsoft Excel. I did not come up with this major phase X, major phase Y on my own. It was taught to me by a postdoc. Anywho, that is how you can create low intensity, low, why is this data point smaller than the rest? Now you have a window into what life is like in my head. Maybe it isn't. I swear it is. Okay. Anywho, thank you for paying attention to this rather niche application. One other thing I'd like to say is if you don't want to see your behavior go down and you only want to see it go up, cumulative record is your best option. It is a little less discouraging that way, as is seen in the sleep example in Persevere, the science-based guide to starting lifelong healthy habits. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day.